plummeted again this morning because of coronavirus concerns.
Just off the bat, how serious is this? Is this something that we need to be terrified of, or is this overblown, or how do you stand on this?
In terms of what hurt, pain, suffering, death has happened so far is really just beginning. This is going to unfold for months to come yet.
New tests led by the U.S. government scientists show the virus can live in the air for several hours and on some surfaces for up to 3 days.
It's dire here. It's very dire. There's people dropping on the footpath, literally. I can't wait to get out of here. It's terrible.
Retailers seeing a run on many of the basics.
Well, just a crazy scene at a grocery store where toilet paper has been in high demand.
Yeah, surveillance video shows a stampede of customers clearing the shelves.
Fights over toilet paper.
Europe is rapidly intensifying, and the number of infections across the continent is also rising fast.
I think we're in the middle of a massive experiment worldwide. Will people listen to scientists?
A major problem in the world today is that we look at outbreaks in developing countries as something that we need to go and stop. That in the enclosed area of a cruise ship, it spread very easily. We need to better understand how it will spread once it gets into more open areas.
Scientists racing to find a vaccine.
Everybody's told you need to go into quarantine. You can't be exposed to others for several weeks.
More than 2,000 dead, tens of thousands infected.
All of Italy is going on lockdown. Tonight, the Prime Minister announcing drastic new measures just a short time ago, essentially telling everyone in his country to stay home.
More than 10,000 people have been infected with the new coronavirus in Italy in just over 2 weeks.
Well, last night, President Trump held a press conference to ease fears about the coronavirus. And after he was done, everyone in America breathed a huge sigh of panic.
Today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic.
I don't mean to scare you, but rather prepare you for the worst. From a personal standpoint, I feel terrible for anyone suffering from this virus. From a financial standpoint, let's discuss why the market is crashing and what you can do about it. At the end of this video, I will go over 7 companies I am investing in. From what we know, there are 2 major reasons why the market is crashing. The first reason is the coronavirus. It's affecting the entire global economy. Airlines and travel-related industries are being hit the worst with this. People are no longer going out, and many businesses are on pause. The Federal Reserve has reacted to this emergency by immediately cutting interest rates down to 0. Not only that, but the Fed is also stimulating the economy with quantitative easing, which is just a fancy way of saying they are printing more money. Trump recently announced a plan to give every American a $1,000 check.
We're looking at sending checks to Americans immediately. Americans need cash now, and the president wants to get cash now. And I mean now, in the next 2 weeks.
How much? Andrew Yang's UBI idea seems like it may be coming to play. The second reason why the economy is crashing is because oil prices are declining, and I mean declining. Over 30% dropped. OPEC wanted Russia to slow down their production of oil, but they didn't listen. So Saudi Arabia responded by flooding the supply of oil, therefore dropping its price because of the increase in supply with a decrease in demand. This forces big companies like Chevron and ExxonMobil to take a huge hit because their business relies heavily on the price of oil. I am fundamentally concerned for big energy companies because they can't make money with oil at these prices. So I'm not loading up on these, but I am also not selling. With all the panic and fear going around, this can be one of the greatest financial opportunities in your life. This moment will go down in history, and we will look back on this crazy time. My game plan is to keep investing as usual, but more aggressively as the market drops. Think 10 years minimum. When I buy a company, I think, will they be around in the next 10, 20, 30 years? And if so, will they be worth more than they are today? After that, I will just do a fundamental analysis, which I made an entire video on. I will link somewhere on the screen for you to watch. Secondly, cash is still and will always be king. In times like this, during panic and crisis, everything seems to be dropping in value except for Clorox stock, and even bonds have been dropping in value. The only thing that has held its value is cash, which is 0%. Cash guarantees you a 0% return, which is better than a negative return. So for everyone panicking, what's the worst case that can happen from this? In my opinion, the worst case, the market goes down to 0, the world comes to an end, money is now just paper, and a clean bottle of water becomes more more valuable than your Gucci belt. The best case, this virus is contained quickly and the market starts to come back to all-time highs again. But regardless of what the market does, I am always buying. If you watched my previous video on 5 undervalued stocks I'm buying during this market crash, you would see that McDonald's was one of them. And at the time of that video, it was around $180. And I had clearly said that it went from being, in my opinion, overvalued above 200 to just simply less overvalued. But I wanted to dollar cost average in. And now I can finally say that McDonald's is looking like it's at a fair value, especially with this PE ratio of 17.11. The second stock I'm buying is Walt Disney, which I find to be an extreme value right now. I think they're ridiculously undervalued. I understand why their price is dropping, because their theme parks are being closed, and that's a huge part of their revenue, and also their streaming service, part of their production of films and shows, requires people to show up on set and record, and that's being slowed down by this virus as well. But I still think in the long term, with my 10-year outlook, Disney will be worth more in 10 years than it is today. And that's just my opinion. It looks very attractive right now with a PE ratio of 14. Does this mean that Disney can go lower from right now? Let's say because of how I'm planning to buy it now. Will it go lower? Probably. I think we're just in the beginning of this market crash, maybe in the middle. But I think there's a lot more room to go down for all the stocks, all the companies. But that doesn't stop me from averaging in. I don't care. It can go up, down, sideways. I'm always buying. On up bull markets during this past 11 years, I've been buying as stocks go up in value, and I know I'm overpaying, but I'm okay with that because I know in the long run, I will average in. And especially in times like this, when stocks come down to such cheap prices, I just load up more and I aggressively fund my portfolios even more. That way I can take advantage of this value, and in the long run, it can pay off. So the third company I'm buying, which is also another dividend paying stock, is Home Depot. I'm finally starting to buy Home Depot. I've been looking at this company for a while with a PE ratio of only 15. I mean, right now, everything in the market looks very cheap. Right now, everything is just crashing. Everything's going down in price. Deciding what companies to pick, what companies to buy, does take time and research. You really should be selective about where you put your money. I'm choosing these companies because I really like them, and I just simply see them being higher in 10 plus years from now. Home Depot is my third dividend pick. I'm gonna go into 3 growth stocks right after this. As far as my dividend payers, I'm excited to buy these. Also, on the topic of dividends, they might get cut. A lot of companies will probably have to cut their dividends, just like they're laying off employees. It makes sense during this time of contraction, during this time of no business, to keep their cash and reinvest it in themselves rather than pay out shareholders. So in a rare situation like this, I'm actually okay with some companies lowering their dividend because I know it's temporary and for the short term. However, if we were in a bull market and times were great and a company decides to just cut its dividend, that is 99 out of 100 times a signal for me to sell. So this next company is Facebook, and this is just ridiculously undervalued in my opinion. I think anywhere below $200 was already a good deal. And now seeing it at $140, this is back to those Cambridge Analytica scandal prices. I think this is just one of the best deals right now, and I've been loading up. In my previous video, I put $10,000 at 185. Now it's at 142. I'm looking to add a lot more money to this company. Everyone's on Instagram. Everyone uses WhatsApp. They have so much data on everybody. Future advertisers will love this data so they can know who to sell to and efficiently make money. It's a big part of the future, and it's one of the companies I strongly believe in. Finally, we're at Tesla. Seeing it at $380, it has come back down to reality, and I'm starting to average in with a lot more shares. I see this company being in the thousands in the future. Right now, I think it's very undervalued, but that's just my opinion. If you look at the potential of this company, the gap of their electric vehicles is so huge. I don't see anybody catching up. It's basically a monopoly, and the investment they have in batteries, electricity, there's just so many reasons why I love Tesla, and I'm a big fan, and I'm just going to keep loading up, and I believe in them. So that's my second growth stock pick. And the third one is Google. Google Alphabet. I like to buy this one with the L at the end because you get the right to vote. I mean, but GOOG is just as fine. What I'm looking at here with these 3 growth stocks, the main reason I'm buying them is data. If you look at Facebook, all the data for advertisers. Tesla, they have all that driving data. And then Google knows things that your best friends don't know about you. Google knows all those weird questions you ask it. Google has all the details about literally everybody. It's scary how much information Google has. So I don't see Google going anywhere. We all need Google. Even in this time of crisis, everyone's Googling coronavirus. What do we do about this? That's my 6th stock pick. I want to know for the 7th stock pick, what stock are you guys interested in? I want you to comment down below. What companies are you looking at? What's your #1 stock pick right now? What do you plan to invest in? Are you taking advantage of this recession? Are you waiting on the sideline? Are you panic selling? What's your situation? Comment it down below. I'll respond to every single comment. I read them all. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.